When her mother went out for the night, a 16-year-old girl named Alice invited her two best friends, Zendia and Zaira, over to her house to keep her company. They were sitting on the couch, bored, looking for something to do. Suddenly, there was a knock at the door. "I'll get it," said Zaira. When she answered the door, there was a tall guy wearing a navy blue hoodie standing there. It was Keith, Zaira's new boyfriend. "Hey babe," shouted Zaira. "Come on in and make yourself comfortable." Keith came into the living room and sat down on the couch. Alice was trying to think of a game they could play to pass the time. "Oh, I know," shouted Zendia. "Let's play hide and seek." Everybody nodded in agreement. They went outside. It was cold and damp, but they did not care. "Okay, here are the rules," explained Alice. "The seeker has to count to 100 while the hiders have to find a hiding place and hide." "Really?" said Zaira sarcastically. "I don't think any of us knew that already." "Let me finish," said Alice. "When the hider is found, she or he has to scream to let the others know." "Keith will be it," said Zaira, volunteering her boyfriend. "Oh, of course," Keith grinned. "She always made me volunteer for everything." Keith covered his eyes and began counting while the three girls split up and ran off in different directions to find a hiding place. Zendia hid behind a shrub while Alice ducked down behind a parked car. Zaira did not know where to hide, so she stood behind a tree. "Ready or not, here I come," shouted Keith. For a long time, there was nothing but silence. Alice grew bored of her hiding spot, so she went to find Zaira. The two girls crouched behind the tree together. Then they heard a loud cry in the distance. "Maybe he caught Zendia," whispered Zaira. Just then, they heard a strange voice behind them whisper, "Shh." Alice and Zaira turned around and screamed. "I found you," shouted Keith. "Oh my God, Keith, you almost gave me a heart attack," Alice cried angrily. "Where's Zendia?" asked Zaira. "I did not find her yet," Keith replied. They all decided to go look for her and walked around the housing estate in the darkness. After searching for 30 minutes, there was still no sign of her, and the other girls were getting worried. Just then, they happened to look behind a large bush, and all of them screamed in horror. Zendia was lying on the ground in a pool of blood. She had been stabbed in the chest. On her corpse, there was a scribbled note. It simply read, "I found you." It was a Halloween night in 2004, and a young boy was being picked by his brother and some older kids from school. They dared the young boy to go into the graveyard at midnight with a bunch of garlands and place one on each of the gravestones. Not wanting them to think he was a coward, the young boy accepted the challenge. It was a moonless night, and inside the cemetery was pitch black. The rusty gates of the cemetery opened with a creak, and the boy cautiously entered. He looks at his watch. It was midnight, the witching hour. Clutching the garlands tightly, he made his way to the middle of the graveyard. He was shaking with fear, but he tried to steady his nerves. He was afraid that if he returned without completing the task, the older boys would laugh at him. Moving slowly through the cemetery, he got the distinct feeling that someone or something was watching him. Finally, he managed to place each garland on a gravestone, and his task was complete. "Well, that's all of them," he whispered to himself. Just then, he felt a cold hand on his shoulder as a voice hissed, "You forgot mine." One evening, when I was in my junior year of high school, my mom and dad went out, leaving me home alone. I had a lot of homework to do, so I spent the whole evening sitting at my desk in my bedroom. My parents left the house around 6 p.m. While I was doing my homework, I put on my headphones and listened to loud music. There was a big storm that night, and my desk was facing the window, so I could see the rain, the lightning, the thunder outside. My parents got back around 11 p.m. When I saw their car drive up, I took off the headphones. As soon as my mom opened the front door and came inside, I heard her shout my name. What on earth had happened in here? She demanded in an angry voice. Confused, I ran downstairs. My mom was standing in the hallway with a furious look on her face. She pointed at the floor and yelled, "Was this you?" I looked down and saw the carpet was covered in muddy footprints. "I have no idea how those got there," I said. "I spent the whole night at my desk doing my homework." I watched as the look on her face changed from anger to confusion and then to fear. We both realized it at the same time. Someone else must have been in here. We followed the trail of footprints, trying to make the sense of the whole situation. They started at the back door, which we usually left unlocked. Then we noticed something else. The footprints started at the back door, but there was no trail of footprints leaving through the back door. All of a sudden, we heard something loud, pounding noise that echoed throughout the house. Then, the sound of the front door being wrenched open and slammed shut again. We all ran into the garage and locked the door behind us. My mom took her cell phone out and called the police. "Please come quickly," she shouted. "Someone's in our house." After what seemed like hours, a patrol car arrived with 2 police officers, a male and a female. One officer stayed with us in the garage while his partner went throughout the house, searching it room by room. When she came back, the female officer told us that there was no one in the house and it was safe to go back in. As we were all breathing a sigh of relief, she asked, "Whose bedroom is upstairs on the left?" My parents looked at me. "It's mine," I told the officer. She asked us to follow her. As we walked through the house, we could see the trail of muddy footprints leading from the back door, through the living room, through the hallway, up the stairs, into my parents' bedroom, and then towards my room. They stopped at my doorway. The female officer pointed at my door, which had been open the whole night. Scrawled on it, in black marker, was the following: 8:47, I see you. 8:53, you forgot to lock the back door. 8:59, you seem confused. 9:24, turn around. 9:47, look at me. 10:15. Look at me. 10:37. Look at me. 10:49. Look at me. For more than 2 hours, someone had been standing in my doorway watching me. To this day, I still shudder to think what would have happened if I had turned around.